Hello everyone and welcome back to PropWay. So in this video I have a really fun build for you guys, and as you can already tell by the title and the thumbnail, I built this Spider-Man helmet, which is based off the one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, specifically the Iron Spider suit, because these eyes light up. So this helmet is made out of EVA foam, and I added some LEDs on the inside. For this helmet, I made my own template, and you can find it in the description below. You will also find a list of materials that you could use to build this, like the foam or the screen to make the eyes, and also the LEDs themselves. As I'm holding this, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering whether the eyes open and close. This version does not. This is just the LED lights, but I am working on a version with the moving eyes, so stay tuned for that in a future video. So this helmet is 100% wearable, and because I used this mesh screen right there, you definitely can see through it pretty clearly. It does get a little less visible when you turn the lights on, but without the lights, it's perfectly clear. And because it's lightweight foam, it is very comfortable to wear, and you can size it up a little bit if you need more space or size it down. So without further ado, let's get on with the tutorial. So to make the template, I used a very popular technique that many YouTubers like Odin uses to make their own helmet templates. So basically you wrap a mannequin head in foil and then cover it with duct tape. By the way, you guys don't have to do this step because I already had the template made, but if you wanted to make your own template, then this is how you do it. So now I'm just sketching onto the duct tape the Spider-Man mask, and I wanted to make sure that all of my seams were going to land where the webbing lands, which is why I drew out all the webbing. So now I'm just taking an X-Acto knife and I'm cutting through the foil. So after I cut out these pieces, I ended up with 4 parts to the mask, which is this mouthpiece here, the side of the head right here, the forehead, and then the back of the head right here. And basically the other side would just be a mirror of these pieces. So I transferred this template to foam and I cut it out, and here I'm trying to round out the foam pieces, and I use this very expensive tool here from the dollar store to round out these pieces. And here's the contact cement that I use. So here I'm just applying the contact cement to the edges of the pieces. After you wait a few minutes, you can then stick the pieces together, and they should stay stuck just like this. And now I'm taking the side head pieces and I'm rounding them off, again adding some more contact cement. And now I connect those side pieces to the mouthpiece like this. I do apologize because I recorded this part in time-lapse mode and now I can't slow it down, so hopefully you guys can see what's going on, but the template is pretty self-explanatory. So for some of the larger pieces, I use a heat gun like this before I round off the piece. This just allows you to get a more permanent curve after you round it off. So these are the forehead pieces, again adding more contact cement. Once you compress the pieces together, you can combine them along that center seam like this. And here you should have most of the mask complete, everything except the back side. And if you are going to use contact cement, I would recommend using it in a very well ventilated room, as the fumes of the contact cement can smell a little bad, and my sister yells at me when I don't wear a mask when I'm using it. So here I'm just connecting these back pieces together like this. And this will get secured to the back side of the mask. As you can see, the hole on the bottom of the helmet is a little small, so I did trim off some of that. And you guys can trim it based on how it fits your head. So now I'm going to add the lens piece to the eye. So here I'm just tracing out some foam, and I'm cutting it out with an X-Acto knife. So now I just cut out the middle of that eyepiece. As a side note, this template can definitely be used as a face shell instead of a helmet, which is what I did. If you're going to use it as a face shell, you would just have to trim off most of that back side of the helmet. So now I'm just adding some contact cement into the eyes, and I will place that frame right inside of there. And once those frames are in place, I started sketching out the webbing pattern on the mask. So after you have the webbing pattern sketched out, you can just take your X-Acto knife and score those lines. Be careful not to cut all the way through. And when you add some heat to it, those lines will open up and give you some nice details. So now I just took some gray primer and I added a couple of layers to the mask. Here's what it looked like after one layer. You want to make sure you do it in nice thin layers so that you don't get any dripping. And here I used a metallic red that is actually used for cars. And I wanted to test it out to see if the metallic came out nicely. Here's what it looked like after a couple layers, but as I added more, it got really dark, almost like a purple. So I added some regular red spray paint over it, and here's what I ended up with. So now I just take some black acrylic paint with a brush, and I paint the frames black. Now for the lenses, I found this plastic canvas, which I believe is used for sewing, but it works perfect for this mask because of the small holes and you can see right through it, and it's flexible. So I cut out the shape of the lens, a little bigger than the hole in the mask, and as you can see here, it fits right behind it. And now I just take some hot glue and I add it right to the edge of that lens. And while that's hot, you want to stick it right to the inside of that mask and hold it in place. Make sure you don't burn yourself. And here I am just doing it to the other side. So if you don't want to add lights to your mask, you can actually stop at this point, and you will have a perfectly functioning mask that you can see through. But because I wanted this to be the Iron Spider version, I am adding some LED lights, and here's the LED strip that I used. So now I just did some soldering to get the wire leads onto it. Here's some heat shrink tubing that I used to cover up those solder joints. And once you add heat to it, it tightens up and hardens, which is really nice. So here I cut out a piece of foam in the shape of the lens, and I'm sticking the LED strip right onto the inside of it, just like this. And after placing that piece onto the inside, you'll get a nice lit up eye just like this. And here is the inside view of where I placed that light. And so I made another piece, and this is what it looked like when it's on the inside. I also added a switch to the wiring so I could turn it on and off, and I just use a 9-volt battery to power it up. And I will be posting a picture of a basic wiring diagram of how to wire it all together. Here I added a white foam guard so that I don't get blinded by the lights. Ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. And here is the final product. Thank you guys for watching this tutorial. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys try out the project for yourself. If you guys have any questions on how to make this, feel free to leave a comment below. Also, I know a lot of you already do this, but if you have any suggestions or recommendations on future projects, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I might build one of them. And I will see you guys in the next video.